top 10. So none of the top teams who are competitors today gives them the opportunity to pick up a victory royale and fly up the leaderboards, which I'm
first. Guys, what's going on in that northwest quadrant of the map? I put this on the broadcast earlier, but I want to actually break down exactly what happens, because you have Art Skills Trio, you can see inside Stealthy, but you have those chaos, what ended up happening. So usually we're seeing Janice Chapix rotate all the way over into here and pick up a fight on a contested drop spot. That's not necessarily what happens, because you can see there's only a single team in there right so far. So this top corner has a lot of options what team is doing, and this is just what actually happened. You can see chaos. Every single team has managed to push in to try and fight, and they have the same Storm Surge strategy. Flecken's team trying to push in and fight Expert's team at the same time. All of them trying to come in, and they just get this three-way, really awkward fight where they go tit for tat. They trade elimination after elimination overall, and it just becomes super scrappy and not the usual clean fight that we're used to seeing. You see from X-Kumu, who's absolutely basically just popped off at the end as well, managing to clean up this and definitely secure them some points here. But usually this kind of fight is something you'd see would be quick, fast. They sneak in and they have no clue what's happening. But from Kumu's team, because they ended up winning out, beautiful for them.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. And as you can see, I don't want to say it's happening, but it looks like it's happening. Look, there's 1 point in it at the top, right? Tayson, Vino, and Reason lead by just 1 point at the moment. But boy, am I not, I'm not too sure what's going to happen. It looks like the fourth time might be possible. But look, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's take a look at that next page, right? Because obviously just got, plenty of... And Anderlecht, Ozonic, Squeeze sitting here in 11th, and on the day, I believe they've been one of the best teams on the day. I think they, if you just wants to do that.
I mean, that's kind of classic from them. We saw the exact same thing last season, where I'm pretty sure they were somewhere around like 20th after day one, and then they ended up being top 10. So they had a huge comeback day two. So maybe Anderlex's team, day two heroes from now on, and we could see them continue to fly up the leaderboard throughout the next couple games that we've got left.
Yeah, look, it's almost similar to how they did in the qualifiers, where qualifier 2, they come out, don't look good. Qualifier 3, they come out the best performance we've seen in the qualifier all season. So day 2 is clearly a great day for them.
Guys, this is crazy. I mean, if Tayson keeps this up, he could be the 4-time champion just by himself, right? This is Rex Arkram, Epic Will from NA West vibes that we're giving off right now, but we only have 3 games left, so we'll have to see. I know, exactly. On to you. We'll have to see how this all unfolds, but for now, we're jumping back on the battle bus. Let's get into the next game of the FNCS.
Game 10. Here we go. We got 3 more left, and only 1 point separates first and second place. And what's on the line for Tayson, Vino, and Reason is a 4-time FNCS championship and new FNCS champions when it comes to Vino and Reason. That is what's happening. And you could really credit to that to Pink Nebs and Stump Me slowly sliding down thanks to ZQ's Trio's pressure here. Taking building Shio. Game 10, man. Everything is on the line.
3 games. It takes 3 active games to change your fate inside the FNCS from 10th all the way to 1st if they're good enough. And now we're in those final 3, the 10, 11, and 12s of the 2 days. This is where things get really exciting. And yeah, you're talking about Nev, Stompy, Pink. Think about it this way, right? 9 games they've played so far, contested, and they're in 2nd place by 1 point.
Impressive.
We were talking about, Hengenis Chapix being 6th overall last season and, kind of middling throughout the day in 5th, in 10th. These guys have held leads, fighting off spawn every single game. If that's not a statement, I don't know what is.
And this is right here. Look at this. They have gas in the tank right now, trying to dip into the last minute reserves here. And this is what's the difference, though. Janice and Chapix, they fought. They stayed. They wanted it all against High Crescent's trio. They never really disengaged. But Neb, Stompy, and Pink going to go ahead and disengage, get back to the gas station. Talk about it, that refuel that you're going to see right here. This is not going to be a great spot to find some as money's materials as they would have Lazy Lake, of course. But you got to give what you got to take what you can get, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be a really weird take today for a lot of teams, because these next 2 games we're playing are, of course, the added on games from the missed out ones yesterday. So a lot of the players right now are on their game 7s and game 8s, stuff we don't usually see for players in a series. They have third-party experiences a little bit, with playing 8-game formats, sometimes 10-game formats. EU's gotten a little bit weird throughout the years, but now at this caliber of competition, at the top, fighting for that $300,000 prize all the way there for, a nice 100K each trio member. I mean, this is different with stakes. This is also a lobby. You don't want to mess with every POI stacked. You know, people fighting off spawn over and over, mid game being different every game. Sometimes the mountain's in the way. So it's going to be really different in terms of a vibe for Tayson to hold on. That was kind of scary, but it's all good. I was like, wait a minute, there's no name tag. There's no way.
You're there.
Talk about it this time, right, Sancho? It's really different. Before, they moved out of Believer Beach so fast when they have zone. This time, taking their time entirely at the pier, the hotel, make sure the whole POI is looted. They know once they start to move, lots of teams will be beside them. They can get easy shots when they're outside of zone.
And if this is your first time watching the FNCS broadcast, welcome. You're catching us on a hot one. But this is what happens here. When we start getting into the later stages of the game, we focus on the top of the board. You're going to see eliminations happen in the feed, but don't you fret. If a big eliminations happen, we will let the ops know and we'll try to get there as fast as possible. But for now, this is what's going to happen. We're going to sit here, watch how people are looting, watch how people are making adjustments, because literally every single thing in these early games, even though it's just looting and matching, matters the most. And now you're seeing Deceptus, Clement, and Floki. They made those adjustments. They moved from 7th to 8th place, and they skyrocket to 3rd place with that previous game.
Hey, you're talking about, you know, single-digit place here or there. That Tayson's cool. What Stompy's doing is also pretty sick with the clutches. Floki, Clement, Deceptos, though, you're right to talk about him. Not even on that first space to start the day. This has been a really impressive day for these guys overall. Really feeling themselves. Is that Savage just watched down go in the feed too? Fresh Guard and Dreaded deleted again. Second place these guys are holding on to, now down to 7th. And now after this game going to the final 2, they might be even lower. I mean, the boards are still changing the whole way through. Floki's moving up. Centric Hottie, Elo Crash Stripper, and they're moving up too. Sapphic now 6 places higher than he was before. I mean, people have to get replaced.
And the adjustments, the early moments, Malibu cut, no doubt. They had a standstill. Savage tried to disengage. We saw that as well up there for Pink's trio. They disengage. Last time they had a lot of gas, but just not enough. You go right into that North Cami split that's happening here. And now we're just going to keep a look here. Let's see. That was 5th. They pop off and they sneak in. And this time they're sneaking in and they're adding zeros to the price pool at the same time.
That's huge. They're going to be operating on the sneaky side. For this trio on screen, the title is aggression. Moving forward, the first people to third party sometimes on the entire map. In endgame, they're the first to try to go for that retake, or the second to push all the way for height. They really want to take things by their own hands. They're playing a very different, almost opposite beat of Floki, Clement, Deceptos, but are also having very similar ways of success. So right now, both these teams, 3rd and 4th place, are looking to get even higher, looking to get into new territory or 1st and 2nd. For Kuriachi on the bottom right of your screen, well, it's a very good zone to play with. It's all the way towards the south. They want to get back into form. They were holding first for what, 3-4 games, Sancho? And now they're all the way in 5th. They've fallen off a little bit. They're still making end games every now and then, but not really solidifying super top 10s. They're just out of a 10th place with 3 elims right now. It's been north and central zones for them. Every time we see it go towards Sludgy Swamp, though, towards Misty, towards Caddy, that's where they start to really perform. It's kind of at their home. They know all the kind of nuances of the zone. So we'll see what they have to do in this game. They should be getting a lot of points.
On the top right of your screen, you see Patrick Default and Sapphic. There are previous Victory Royale winners coming from Dirty Docks. They're going to make a move. Kiriachi there, I thought he was going to hold on to that Hotfish. That was a key component last season for Kiriachi. But one of the components for this game set that I'm watching here is last time they pushed Save It. And I wonder if they were trying to look for Save It last time and they were unable to find him. That's what caused them to late rotate into Bony Burbs in game. And that ultimately cost them because they went down very early here. But Patrick Default and Sapphic coming out of Dirty Docks, trying to take a page out of Thomas HD's Trio's playbook.
Hey, they're coming out of a Victory Royale universe as well. Just won that last game overall, 7 eliminations. Looking really good in the way they operate as well. I mean, you know, every time we watch a team get a win, their next game not too hot, that Clay effect coming in. But it looks like with the way these guys structure their games, we saw this. I think it was either semifinals or the qual weeks, maybe even both. When it comes to their approach to the game, it's very consistent, more consistent than any other trio, to the point where they have height, just let the game end, Sancho. They just want that placement. They don't even go for more. They don't risk stuff. So in this early game, they might be the only trio with this playstyle to get a win, and then the next game actually have a shot at getting another. That's lethal towards these last 2 games.
Now we're going to Chapik, Sid, and Janice. There's only 3 games left. And the $1 million prize pool is all on the line that will be distributed. The lion's share wins $300,000. Janice Hidden Chapix had tasted the glory, have held the axe of champions back in Chapter 2, Season 5. And they're trying to...
Hey, maybe I need to call up Chris and tell them to start contesting again, because last season they were higher in placement overall, right? They were looking a little bit more spry once winning that fight off of Spawn. This season, that Storm Surge is not guaranteed, so they have to hunt for it in the same way Chapix, Janice, and Hen are right now. And look at this too, FSI bullied by Aqua. Other true to talk about, but on the topic of Hen still, as this fight will easily wrap up, you know, they're literally on the test. This was the season. A lot of people were saying it. Both our analysts have predicted it too. It should be an easy win, uncontested. God Trio, the chemistry on a different level. They should have it in the bag, but they're in 9th right now.
And you're seeing the chemistry just focusing on this engagement from the Dio and Noah Riley. You know, they're taking the page back into the previous season. They're being aggressive. They're being more bucks of fighter E, which is not really a word, but I'm going to throw that in there. So Aqua right now, they usually set up in bases and they send down the beams, but the Bucks fighter-y vibes inside of Noah Riley and Vidil are working out for them, and that's the second box fight we see them taking these last set of games.
Yeah, one more point on Aqua's trio in a second as we go towards Steady, Kemi, and Teeks. It's been a little bit of surprise from these guys. They've kind of lived out towards endgame. I think they have the best low ground defense out of any team when they're in that 7th to 9th zone. I feel like getting there has been an issue. Kami already taken out on rotation. Maybe it's the zones entirely. Things are not going too well. We haven't had them as a focus during these moments on broadcast, but we'll see what they can do. They're 8th currently right now. Now, going back to Aqua, you're talking about box fighters. They're looking really good, right? I think the issue with them, though, is for some reason they have this bump in their timeline. The 5th zone, the 6th zone. Something happens and a trio takes them out in a matter of 5 seconds. They need to fix that. Sasha, they were 2nd place at one point. Now they're down in 10th because game after game, they have really good positioning and then they just get wiped. And we never even get to see how. Sometimes when we do, it's one person getting sniped. Everyone else is taken over by Storm. They cannot make the mistake anymore in these last 3 games.
Mistake cannot happen right now for Pink, Stompy, and Nebs out here in the Defiant to an Ingram, so to speak, who's been landing here the entire season. Stompy, Nebs, and Pink are here, and they would love the taste of that perm pad that's just right then and there. But the firepower is not there. Kind of eating to their builds here. I'm just listening here. You could just hear every step just feels heavier, a little bit more bassier, you know?
Yeah.
Mew almost got the shot there, but the wall quickly goes up. Defensive play, they're in the box situation, trying to break them down the ramp. It gets a little bit nasty here. You got to make sure your aim is true. A couple of misses from Pink, but Pink just able to hold on because he has Nebs next to him. But Zape right there is going to come into this fight, but Stompy's going to come from the backside. But Claim, even though he does not have a lot of HP, he still can put on some damage into this engagement here. Zape goes down. Here comes Psych. Stompy and Pink are going to pick back Nebs, and they get rewarded not only the loot, but also that permanent pad for rotation.
Yeah, kind of like that stat was foreshadowing this fight right before it started. Majority of the teams in the top 5, 4 of them basically uncontested off spawn. The ones that just fought again have been conditioned since the start to have these pinches, to be aware and active in these fights. Pink, Nebs, Stompy, literally 10 almost games now, having to deal with someone off spawn, having to deal with people mid game. It's because of this resilience, this conditioning game after game. They're winning these fights so gloriously.
Yeah, that has been their lifeline, them just finding another like scavenger out, a landmark trio, and they take over their loot and they do it with their weapons. So yes, they don't get the loot lake, the Lazy Lake loot, but they rotate, they find a trio. They already found them out there in the Central Mountains. This time they found them out there in Divide Dish.
Stomper Elam's also ramping up game after game. Floki might be to blame the one for that, because clearly this strat is just to base up into Thomas HD and just look for any shots all around with that big gun, but nothing landing right now. Everyone kind of just waiting out to see who's going to make the first edit over, the first mistake.
Already the biggest mistakes made is the 17th team, Savage Trio out. So it's the only one in the top 10 that has been eliminated here in this one of the last 3 games that we have here.
Sean VP, Andy out in the distance there behind Trippern, actually. Also very impressive team so far. Shown us today that they can really handle whatever you throw at them and at least survive longer than expected, and sometimes even win and gain a lot of points. Right towards the end, a little bit of a reboot type fight they were having with, I believe, Easy Trulex all the way on height. But they had that win locked down. Right now, Fast Roki in trouble. Very different day for these guys. On day one, looking so good, controlling, affecting trios back and forth. On day two, kind of the cannon fodder of the whole lobby, being picked apart for Surge game after game after game. Tayson now choosing to dive into these boxes. 500 damage above, actually. They have no reason to get super close and personal. Oh, maybe to help Reason is the actual, you know, reason they're pushing in for this fight. I'm trying to find a different word to not double say the name, but yes, it literally has to be it. Their first place. Make a fumble like that. Oh, and no. Now it's a duo. I just be a solo. I have the Vino again. This is way too early to go out.
We saw way too early. We saw in the last game, they avoided that kind of engagement. Now Vino, the newly signed star to Falcon here, is going to have the clutch of his life. He starts the clutch with a 95 tag to Booback. That's going to give him the ability just to get away. He here, he has the mechanical prowess, but the amount of people that are out here in this engagement may be a little too much. Oh my, wow, way too much as Kylie sees that and bops that out, and that is our first place team going into this match gone.
They were barely even in first. It was a 1 point difference, and yes, I like the fact we go straight to Neb, Stompy, and Pink, starting the entire match off with a cumulative 220 points. It says 122 because that's their points on this day overall. 1 point behind what was Tayson right there. And now all they have to do is just survive the 17th overall or even get an Elam. I see they already have 4. So the advantage was already in their favor. They've taken the lead. They're holding first. We essentially just watched second place go down. And now we'll see how far they can run.
It's so amazing to see Stompy on this run here, the Season X champion. If this ends up being the second FNC championship, I have to think it is one of the most, you know, two-time championships with like a booking, you know, that long time in between.
From game 1 all the way now down to game 9. A lot of the times, even Neb, Stompy, and Pink, if you're looking at the way they're playing, they would not take this much of a risk-free tarp all the way in. They might try to save things a little bit here or there, get in the zone. All around, actually, everyone is playing so much closer to the chest, fixing all the mistakes in terms of taking damage. Dako now alive all the way to this portion of the game as well. You'll see Noah Riley actually not over peaking, everyone together. Their base only 2 stories instead of 4 stories higher, because every time they do build a big base, Aqua ends up going down. They're actually swimming right to as well. They've kind of had longer bases in the earlier games and then elected to go for these box bases, 3 squares side by side, to make sure they don't get picked apart or lobby focused. And now Lazy Lake in this position, it might be a very good spot to be in.
I like this adjustment. They went back to what was working for them from day one, not trying to take any kind of engagements, not trying to find the Storm Surge, box battles, and logjam. They made their adjustment. They went back to the old formula, and it's working for them. They're in a great position here to stormhold a lot of people, even Clement and Floki, who are above them on their leaderboard.
And right now, when it comes to early game and transitioning that towards the end game, you just saw that stat on screen. Kuriachi's team is very good at doing it when they have a little bit of a burst to work with. This game, though, they're kind of super quiet, right? We talked about not taking risks. It's going to be good. This team, though, Trippern, I mean, kind of scratched up coming into this point in the game. Hottie's down. This is a team that works very well as a trio. I haven't seen the greatest things when it's only 2 players alive, so I'm kind of worried for them this game. They're all about working as a team with the big pinches on height, with big, you know, spread out control. With only 1 person to work with, you have to stay close and personal. That's not their style.
Saving grace is they do have the reboot card. Lazy Lake's in play. We haven't seen some reboots and moving zones, so it's possible.
Listen, Sancho, if they get a reboot off and survive, I'll buy you dinner for a year. There's no chance.
Let's go. Let's go. Survive to what? Survive to what? Top 5?
I'm just saying, if the reboot happens, they're gone.
Here we go.
There's not even a chance, because There is no shot a reboot is possible.
I'm invested.
And Elo. They have the reboot card, but gotta remember there's so many other teams too. We gotta check in. I mean, if the reboot happens, we'll hear it, right? And then it happens. Look at this base. I'm not sure. When did they unvault Portaforts? Because they got metal built out on all sides. It's looking good. Stompy wants to take his lead off the edge of the island side of things. Or the river side. They're looking good. Gotta remember with the mini map, it's moving a little bit further too, so it'll be fine. They have the Chug Splash cannon. That's huge for endgame. 544 damage above. Red Rush is affected down below by Tripper and Elo. We're talking about them getting reboots. They can barely even handle this fight. 303 damage below Surge is what it looks like right now. Getting bullied and Lightning will start to strike. Oh no, Tripper's down. Exterios still looking for the shots. Elo Crafts has his walls pre-edited because they were looking for plays. Down to 4 HP. He's going to be forced to heal as Tripper goes down.
Looks like I'm going to go hungry for the year here, but I just got to point out, Pink, Stompy, and Co, they have a great positioning. They have the high ground. They did pull zone. So while we're having fun with this mini wager, with Shio wager, I would have to say Elo Crass has plenty of things to outlast this, but 6 people have to go down, and he has a trio on his front doorstep here. But all these people have to move out, but they're deciding to fight. It's because the Storm Surge is kind of being the cement shoes that's locking them into these engagements. I'm just seeing some slow rotations happening as Elo Crass, the reason why we're focusing in, this is 4th place. They've been in top 3 for a long time, and they're inching their way closer. Chachi, I believe, is right there. No, Elo Crass gets greeted with some lead, and he's out.
Taken down, lots of people still have to move in. Lazy Lake, it's so tough to kind of break out of these boxes, move past these buildings, and find a way to find some space. Aqua, always on height, staying true to his name, takes over Nev, Stompy, and Pink. Against a former teammate right now, both know the strategy books, both know what to do. And another fumble from Aqua's side. Noah Riley caught in his builds, but it's a trap. Vadil deals lots of damage. Almost shield crack from 2 players, and Neb's down to just minimal HPs on the same layer now, and Aqua's diving in zone to find an angle for this one. It's getting so dirty in this fight. There's no shot. This is happening on high ground, isolated. No other team looking in. There's no full knocks on either side. Aqua trying desperately with Stompy. They get Pink down to 14 HP. They can't find anything. Stompy looking to pick Nebs back up. He has a lot of time still left over. Noah Riley finally ticked out. Nebs kind of,
are you kidding
eliminated me? Knocked body, get the siphon. I'm not even sure, but man, what a breakout fight before zones even move.
Oh man, that was amazing to see old teammates go at it right there. It looks like they trade reses here, and they're going to continue on at high. Pink and Stompy say, that's not enough for us. We're going to give that up here. But the shamble situation is way too much as Chapix takes advantage and eliminates their Aqua, Steady, and Forzi.
Up, no one in their way. Red Rush, we know he's a solo. This is a free pickup for the squad. They get another.
Right,
he's found defense perfectly within the backside of this storm, all in the same box. Zeus is looking for it, beams back up towards the sky. Hen gets affected with HP, big beams, but they trade. Hen now low, Jad is taken out. They move from the low ground, they take the shots. Kiriachi looking for the finish on the Chapix. That is absolutely insane for a 3-man clutch. Kiriachi, Stormer, and Toos. What a well-deserved low ground win.
Another 11 eliminations in Victory Royale, and the highlights are not stopping. We thought we had the highlight of the year. No, another one. Is this a montage? Are we just stuck in a montage? Because it's not stopping, Shio. What a great win for Kiriachi's trio.
Hey, I'll hop aboard the Kuriachi Stormy and Toos train. We're going straight over to the last game with them because there's no one who could stop them. A trio in the way, boom. Another one, boom. Another one. I mean, Zeke, Levin, Reese, how many people did they take down?
Guys, we're looking at 11 eliminations. That's what I can confirm on desk. And really quick, just massive shout out to Shy Wager and Sunch West. You feel like they're just like casting like a wrestling match. You know what I'm saying? The energy is next level. My goodness, though, imagine if that had gone the way of Hen, Janice, and Chapix, right? We kind of like tend to forget that, especially in situations like this, like 2 teams at the very end, right? You're talking about a 6-point swing in just eliminations alone. Another 4 points for the difference in second or first, right? So a 10-point swing for both of these trios, and on top of that, tiebreakers, right? My goodness, still though, the action is absolutely heating up, Levin.
Yeah, no, it's getting crazy. It is getting real. Like, I'm watching that game, and we're all watching that game, and we're watching it thinking, Janice and Chapix, it's a classic win, you know, we all waited for this at some point, but then no, Kiri actually said, no, we're not doing this today. Today is our time. And look, you know, we came into the day and they were the first place team. Things sort of got a bit murky for them. This is their opportunity now to push themselves back into contention to try and win it all. Look, I'm going to be rooting for Janice and Chapix as I will. I'm looking forward to seeing how Kiri actually continues to build off of this, right? Because that is a huge game for them.
Well, every single team above them didn't make top 15. So all 4 of the teams who were above them at that time did not even get into the big placement points. They hit 2 thresholds, 3 thresholds, basically for placement for at least some of them. So they could be on top based on that. And that final fight really just came down to a 3v3 gun battle. Played out. Kiriachi's team hit better shots.
Yeah. That's all this is. That's all it is.
Just hit your shots, kid. Just hit your shots. That's all it takes. Really quickly, I wanted to touch on Andalex's trio, a trio we've not seen too much about, but they're still performing very well.
Oh, yeah. The big thing for me is that, you know, these guys did poorly in day 1. And, you know, of course it was because they were contesting Floki, Clement, DeCipsos, and, you know, things weren't going too well for them. I want to show you guys, look, they've disengaged, well, they've looted up their side of Misty, and they've come all the way out here, right? A long distance to travel, right? You may be thinking, what are they doing all the way out here? Well, the big thing for them is they need to find ways to deal with their surge. They were so poor when it came to surge on day 1, but day 2, you can see they're getting so much more aggressive. They know Rubak's team, we want it with them. They're one of the most confident fighting teams in the region, and their X40 and their Squeeze are just wonderful. And you can see here, they line it up. They have the sight lines. Rubak's trio has no idea that they're coming, and so all of a sudden, you have this opportunity where they can just line up a 3-2-1. We all know the classic, you know, you wait, you always have the one teammate that shoots a bit too early, but still you wait, you line it up, you try and get the knock, and you try and push from that. And that's exactly what they did, right? You can see here from McSqueeze's POV, he's the one that actually hits the lucky number, and Kylie just doesn't see it coming, right? These are the sort of plays that they're making now. They're trying to be much more aggressive with their surge, looking to get to other places in the map where they know they're not going to have to deal with many third parties in this general area, but they can just go out there, get their tags, and then move into endgame. And it's working out for them, right? They finally pushed into the top 10. You can see they're in 8th place, but in 1st place, like you said, they probably would be. Kiriachi, Stormy right and 2 sitting above 10 points above 2nd. They are the real deal right now.
They are the real deal. That's actually the first game from Kiriachi's team that's been in double digits for EU so far, which is crazy to think. No teams have managed to get double-digit eliminations up until this point. So Kiriachi's team putting on a show. Pink's team still there, super close. But remember, they were really low down in that into 15th place. But Cami, Seti, and Teeth, look, we've kind of gone under the radar for these guys. Last 3 games, 7th, 2nd, and a 3rd, with really good average in 6 eliminations too. So these guys have now crept their way into the discussion.
And to think these guys weren't even in the finals last season, right?
Exactly.
You know, they definitely are a team who you would have thought would have been there, but they tragically just barely missed out. Let's take a look at that next page, though, 11th to 20th. You can see Falcons, Refsguard, and Dretta and 100 Piece Mr. Savage have dropped a bit. You know, the form has dropped, and they are now sitting just outside that top 10. There are 2 more games, right, to get, you know, your points on the board, but all round, you are going to have to start hitting the panic button, right? You need to pick things up because there is, you know, time's not on your side at the end of the day.
Yeah, and same with kind of Queasy, Trulex, and Jerky, our current FNC as champions. You know, 163 points I mean, they are not looking possible to pick up the first place with 2 games remaining, you know, get the back-to-back. But for them, like, I'm sure we could see some big victory royale stuff coming out and definitely shake up a top 10, maybe even a top 5, depending on how the rest of the teams play. But it's tough to see them down that far. But realistically, their hype plays have just been outmatched by other teams doing the exact same thing in this kind of standard of lobby.
That's what we kind of talked about at the very beginning, right? Was like, we yesterday observed that high ground was, trios were trying to dogpile on these high ground and kind of ignored the low ground entirety. And this is kind of the fallout of it, right? When you have all these trios saying like, no, we're just not going to let you guys get high ground. You become too powerful if we just let you take that. It's going to make our game difficult. So we'll have to see, man. We've only got 2 games left to go, and it's looking like anyone in top 10 could walk away trios champions. For now, though, we're going back with Sunshine West and Charger for game number 10 of the finals here in EU.
This is it. This is what we're talking about. Last 2 games here of the set. This is getting into bonus time for the day. As we mentioned, 8 games are going to be played today, and over hundreds of thousands of dollars will be awarded. Shayo, you've been calling some amazing matches so far, but we're not done yet, brother.
Hey, we're just at the starting course for now, Sancho. We got a lot more still to do. And what I'm looking at right now is an even closer game that's just changing hands every single time. We'll do what we did before, Sancho, in the last one and set the stakes up. Right now, Kiriachi, Stormy, Toos off a win, looking good. But this is where the cursed energy starts to form. Will things change within the last 2 games? Will people stop their uncontested reign over at Sludgy Swamp? It might just be because Astro's landing way too close.
Hey, it has to be all the hairs in the back of your neck have to stand up if you're a Kiriachi fans out there. But hey, I'm beyond second win. I know all of these people are beyond their second win as well. We're all running on fumes, and I'm going to try to find a way to find the 3rd or 4th, 5th win, because this is what it talks about right now. We got to operate on fumes. You got to ride your way to the finish line. 2 more games left, and hey, we've been seeing some adjustments come out, but Shayo, the championship pedigree of this lobby, we're seeing that so many people are in striking distance. Seti, Cammy, and Tika is going to be one of those, and Nebs, Pink, and Stompy here. Look at this. They're proving it true, and they're get gifted a llama here. This is going to be huge for them. Big time.
Yeah, this is going to be a very nice advantage in terms of saving time on their path. And you mentioned Seti, Cammy, Teak. Most impressive team, I think, in the region out of that last game, other than Kiriachi, of course, but that insane run back from low ground. These guys were 8th coming into that game. They had a rough day overall, but off of that one, 7 elims, 3rd place. They survived the terror for long enough to be able to get a lot of placement points from Kiriachi and Janice on the high ground pressure. Now they're in the top 3, about 25 points away from Kiriachi all the way in first. It is nuts. In season 4 is kind of when we saw, this stuff taking forward. It feels like it's just yesterday for both of us, Sancho, but so many seasons passed past that, right? They've had trouble in terms of their spot, their split, some teams bullying them in previous seasons. Now, finally, everything's working, and they have 2 more games they have to push through with.
We're doing right now the parade of the storylines that are here in the top 3, but we're seeing the top 5 in a little bit of a situation here. One of the Clement's trio mates goes down, gets knocked out there in Misty Meadows. We had a great highlight package showing you what's happening there on their rotation, so we have to see if that's not working out for them, what's happened there in Misty Meadows.
Yeah, that's exactly what Levin and Reese were touching on about 3 games ago. They were basically the team that 4 different trios focused on. And right now, Handlex Next Squeeze were one of the last ones to take a bite. This time, the first to arrive at the meal. Floki, the Siptos duo style will take out 1 more, but it's not going to be enough. Down to Floki to save this team's chances at getting crucial points towards the back half of the competition in this game. Yes, Clement's card and an inflatable to run with. But you know what happens to cattle inside fences? They get trapped, and that might be the 1 second differential.
Wow.
That saves Floki or ruins his chances to survive. There's another trio flying in. It's Teach Champs. They've been looking for the 3rd party onto the Siptos the entire time, too. But that trio's vanished. It'll be Andalex taking the damage on this crazy Misty breakdown on the south side of the map.
Yeah, Queasy's there right too. I know Floki has 1 more day to keep on fighting for this French trio here. They've been moving up the board right now, and they're gonna find a wrong time to hit an obstacle course. But this is it, 2 more games. Oh no! Breaking of the glass from the backside. He's gonna have to keep on trucking, baby, because you're here in the FNCS and you got 2 more games to work with. The same could be said for Tayson, Reason, and Vino.
Yeah, we just moved from Floki to Tayson, and these guys were in first and third, and then Steady and Kiriachi kind of took over. So now Vino, Tayson, Reason, they're going to be down in fourth with Floki. Both teams looking to just clap back and get all the way up there, as many points as possible, landing over, getting their loot. They're looking good for now, but we know the mistakes for Tayson, Vino, and Reason come through towards the end of the game, right? The boxes they choose to dive in with sometimes bite off a little bit more than they can chew. That's what happened last game. Their mid game should be fine. We'll see what they can do next.
Noah Riley picking up the Zestin trio again. We're seeing that adjustment being made. I wonder if Tayson, Vino, and Reason are making the adjustment of not being so aggressive with the rotations. Yes, Storm Surge has been a factor for them this season, but considering that they're still there, Believer Beach, you mean they're slowing down. They're like, okay, let's be a little bit more conservative, and maybe we can find a Storm Surge along these rotations. But right now, Floki is just all for you just to get to that top 25, get those 5 placement points just to keep on moving.
I get Clement back up so they can play a game as a duo at least. Zone is far away and moving though, and I think that orange
get lunch for a year here? No, lunch for a year?
No.
I gotta try. Maybe a snack. Give me a snack.
I think the issue here is this orange arrow trio knows exactly what's going down.
Yes,
and it is T-Chips. They saw that Floki was running away with an Unfittable as a solo, so they're probably gonna wait out here for him to maybe make a move on this reboot. But Floki, experienced veteran, he knows the breakdown. He's usually the one in previous seasons doing what Artskill is doing right now, so he's not going to fall for the trap. He'll wait till even the zone comes in and possibly go for that reboot.
Floki just going to brace as much as possible. 2 games right here. 2 games is all are left. And Floki, all eyes are on Floki at the moment. 3 trios are already out of this match, and Floki does not want to be the 4th.
As he hides out, big shout outs to Pink Nebs and Stompy in that last game. 15th place overall. Coming through. And 6 eliminations. That's insane. The pressure they took and kind of survived so many different fights. They picked up 1 or 2 elims from. So it'll be cool to see what they can do this game.
And to give you an idea, you know, the top of the board, their average points is about 20 points or so. So that's about half of their production, considering that they went down so early. So, hey, there's different avenues to keep up your pace. And definitely through the elims, box fighting, taking out those scavenger routes is one of them. And it's already seen that, hey, Aqua's already going to be a box fighter now. They switched over. They had conservative rotation, storm stags. Now they flipped the switch and they're into box fighting mode. And Tayson right now is the meat of the sandwich that he does not want to be here for the moment. Rotary is rolling on through. Reason now is going to collide with them up there. So this is going to be a scary situation here for Tayson, Vino, and Reason fans. And they're trying to hope that their trio can make a comeback.
Study Kamitik, 227 points. Vino, Tayson, Reason, 226. And Floki, who's last alive, 225. So 3 points separating these 3 trios, neck and neck, looking to be inside the top 3. All essentially tied. I know that Floki is just biding his time until things are over. So it's really between Study Kamitik and then this trio on screen.
They have to. Do you think about taking this car out of here? But we've been seeing so many vehicles just getting beamed and getting destroyed. So right now they're going to sit on top of it. This is Rotary's vehicle that brought into the scrum here. But like I mentioned, man, you see Tayson going conservative. You're seeing a lot of the top of the board being conservative here. So Reason, Vino, and Tayson, we already saw them loot up Believer Beach properly. So they have firepower. They have some resources. And luckily, maybe that right there could be that lifeline that they need here to hold on in game 11.
Might be enough, but you see the passive angles every team is taking, focusing on twos for a second. They're the ones really dropping these double-digit elim games. Wow. Winning those top 10s too. We saw a stat 2 games ago. I think every single game we're getting more news about this trio. He's doing anything he can. Remember, 3rd place on the line. They're essentially tied for it right now with Steady Kemi and Teague.
Oh my God, they're back again, man. They're here to fight. It's a little bit of a taste in the NA West. If you've never watched an NA West broadcast, they have the most reboots in the region. Being off, and then the Decepticons, Clement, Floki are benefiting here. But yeah, you're seeing that the top of the board is making their moves. They're being conservative, but Floki, Decepticons, Clement being aggro. They're being very aggressive, and they're skyrocketing up their leaderboard. Like I mentioned, they were about 10th place here. Now they're making a move.
I just realized I thought that he didn't have Deceptos' card. This is a full trio.
Yeah.
That's up.
They're good. They're good. They're okay. I mean, this is only going to be a couple of tick storms, so it's going to be really good. They're going to eat it up. You know, they're going to enjoy the basking glow, that purple vibes right now, because, hey, that's what you got to do. Because, again, being on top, hey, championship, sure, that'd be great to have, but thousands and thousands of dollars are on the line for all the people in the top 5. So for them to stay within that top 5 is going to be crucial. So that reboot right there, could be worth a couple of zeros, my friend.
I mean, we saw in terms of getting VRs from reboots, Savage's team was the first to do it in EU, if I'm correct. We'll get the back end to check on that, but that was one of the stats that flew over just a few games ago. So if Floki could do it in this fashion, it's not just a random reboot off a fight. This is like pure instinct survival, and they're still in this game. That is too crazy for me to even fathom. Moving on past that too, it's too much.
It's been a crazy day. Again, a lot of first 8 games in one day for the FNCS, but we've been seeing highlight after highlight after highlight. We thinking, okay, that's the top play of the day, but not too fast. Another top play comes in, but this is going to be the top moment right now. Save It, who is right now just trying to just regain their footing here. And they compare a couple of games, they could definitely get themselves in the top 10. But when you see a trio like that, you do not want to be near them. And that is why Aqua Vidil, yeah, sure, we're always on hype, but they don't want any part of that business. But Karma wants some of this business, and Vino goes down. Oh no, Vino, the canary in the coal mine, goes down early here and gets a surprise attack. Now Reason, Tayson are in trouble. Game 11 here on the ropes. They're wheeling here. They're knocked out on their feet. Reason with 150 HP. Tayson, the 3-time FNCS champion, with no shield here. He's getting pushed. Aqua is there, and so that's going to be the ability to slow down that push as Tayson's going to try to sneak out the back door. So Aqua may have just helped that out situation and allow Reason and Tayson to regain their footing and shake off those cobwebs.
Still one person fully eliminated. The card not that easy to approach and retrieve. I think Tayson might have done it for the backside. It seems like Boney Burbs is the biggest obstacle in this trio's way every single game when it's natural low ground. They're up against another team, or it is a central type zone. They're making mistakes on one wall that's costing them hundreds of points sometimes. The potential this trio has when they pop off late game, when they have everything working out, when Tayson has a purple pump, it just does not live up to its potential because of these slight, silly little mistakes. And now they look for a way to clap back. It's not going to be possible for this reboot to come through. There's way too many teams here. It'll be tough.
Okay, Vino was having a lot of solo impact points. Yes, he got elimination placements, but Tayson was leading the charge of eliminations. Reason as well was getting a lot of placements. Duo, they just have to be careful as considering that they went conservative this time around. They did take a couple of box fights, but still, that will be the concern going forward if you are a Tayson and Reason and Vino fan.
Listen, at this point, the last 2 games, it'll be the VRs that make the difference in a majority of these top 5, top 10 teams, right? And with 2 players, Sancho, at this point, especially with the way that Reason and Tayson play, I don't think those 2 can get the victory royale alone.
And who has VRs? You're looking at a trio right here that has them. They got a couple, they got 1 VR. Tayson's trio does not have a VR. So far that's in the top 3 that has 2 VRs. It is Pink, Nebs, and Stompy.
Pink, Nebs, Stompy, I think one of the biggest reasons they get to stay all the way this high in the board, even if they go out a little bit earlier, make those mistakes. 2 VRs earlier in the competition, and then these elims they have consistently every single game. What I'm liking, though, is that they're always setting themselves up to be either alive as a team or going down as a team. There's never these instances like what's happening with Tayson, what's happening with Hadi, that one player's down and they all survive. Every game plan they have is do or get done, no matter what side of the zone it is. And I'm liking that. That's how you stay ahead of the competition. That's how you get consistency. Even in 15th place, they can all be alive to spray and get elims.
Yeah, bottom line, in Riot Rio, as they're trying to get back into the top 3. They've been there almost the entire finals. And this is where they've been the surprise right here. Every time, Shayo, drop spots, everyone on social media, everyone on the Reddits and whatnot, they see the drop spot. If they see 2 trio names, automatically not going to do well. But Neb, Stompy, and Pink, they're showing it that it can be done. And it's very successful. And what's a how? Very smart disengages and very smart secondary game plans, picking on those landmark trios.
Yeah, coming out of the semifinals too, not even a qual round. This team was looking kind of rocky at the start of the season.
Yep.
Now everything just kind of seems like, hey, they should be running EU or have been for a long time. Everything just seems perfect. They're kind of like the counter stratters to everyone else's aggression or pacificity at different points in the game. I just love the way they adapt to every single situation, and they're going to continue to do so. Corny complex field. They're not slowing down their push, even at the risk of people hiding inside the bushes. Forza and NLX X-Squeeze will be their partners in crime, it looks like, for a certain amount of time as the zones start to get a little bit smaller. But all around the map, there are relationships between top teams. Floki, Trulex, side by side.
They're not even supposed to be here, dude. They're not even supposed to be here. And if you would have never known that they were not, you'd be like, wow, okay, they got 200 HP. They're looking really good. They're looking really strong. Yeah, the materials are lacking, so they're going to be very active looking for that refresher. But still, what a clutch situation, and they crossed that threshold for placement. 5 placement points right there. So what a great clutch by Floki.
So what are the goals for these teams too, including Floki's teams, right? So you see the loot right now on the map counts. You're right on the ball there, Sancho. They're in the game, but I don't feel like they're ready to play just yet. They need a siphon. They need something, right? They don't even need to reach 9th zone just yet. Their first goal, their immediate mission right now is to find some type of elimination, some type of loot somewhere.
They don't even have mobility, dude. They don't have it.
They got a fishing rod, right?
Okay, there's no water. No water. If I see a fishing place, no way.
I don't even. I'm trying to think of anything.
You know what?
That's just one, right? That's for them.
Like legit. If they could fish loot, they totally can. They could throw it out there and just bring it to them.
That takes too long.
Yeah, I know. They got rid of the harpoon, but still, dude, when there's nothing available for them, you got to throw everything at it. And maybe it might stick.
For Kuriachi here right now, too, not going to be funny, fishy plays they need to make. They need to get serious. For me, their goal, 9th zone. Stay alive till there. Their game plan in terms of how they move, how they stay together, will get them eliminations. They'll get lots of points making it to that point of the game, but they need to make it to the 9th zone with all 3 alive. That is their goal. Looking at right behind them, Pink, Nebs, Stompy, very similar. Any team that's kind of in the top 3 right now need to survive all the way towards the very end. They need to make a big lead coming to that last game, or things can still be up to chance. You do not want to do that if you are looking to win FNCS. As we saw last season, when it was all close by, every team had a chance. That game got very scary.
Chances are what you may have to take to get into the last dance to be able to win the championship. Kuriachi just storming right so entire weekend. And this is it. Revsguard gets a knock on surprise here. So that has been a trio that slipped out of the top 3. It's just showing you how difficult it can be. And they've been slipping out of the top 10. A lot of early falls, but still, just keep focusing on the renaissance of this Russian trio. I mean, some old names in the EU region, especially Kuriachi here. When you have a fan now, and I mentioned old names.
Taste and Reason trying to clamp down on it too, because they need loot. They're operating as a duo. It'll be just bolstered all the way up towards the top with items, with mobility, with refreshes of materials. Aqua once again inside the 4th, 5th zone. Mistakes happening. One trio member going down. This time it's the leader. Unfortunately, that might hinder their performances in this game. Lots of views to be taken right now and are installed on their walls. Aqua taken out. No way.
I am so shocked right there. We saw Aqua on the back foot, but you kind of talked about it. 90 below here. Reason, Vino, and Tayson. Reason and Tayson operating as a duo. They're going to kind of delay this glide here. They're going to see if they could catch someone trying to push it through, and they might catch another strong duo. The barrel stuff is through. They catch Vidil. Actually, that was Vidil getting pressure from the other side. Vidil, Noah Riley have been knocked and eliminated. They are gone. The Reason and Tayson pressure caused so much of a ruckus.
And it's all action on all sides. Pink down as well. Stompy taken away in the feed. So lots of different teams all the way towards the top are toppling now. Pink, Nebs, and Stompy eliminated by Mappy and Exterios.
Oh, it's happening again, Shayo. The top 3 tend to go down. We're getting closer and closer to the final frames. It's happened in the qualifiers. It's happened in the semifinals.
There is one team that's an outlier on your screen. Kuriachi, Toos, and Stormy Right. Turtling, hidden, passive. They do not want to have any say in any fight right now. Let the action come to them. Bring the party to us, they say. They're waiting for the zone, and yes, before they win games from just letting Height do their thing first. They might be overstepping here. They got to be careful.
Right. Last time they had Height, it was back there in the log jam. They stayed there for a long time, and they were trying to hold on to him. Before you know it, so many people started gliding over. It has happened time and time again, and this would be the worst time to happen to them. So they might be playing better, just letting everybody walk over them, because it's all about placements for them. You keep going, you still vibing, you keep surviving, and you will be on top of the board going into game 12.
I like it though. So what they basically ended up doing is keeping the same theme, but turning the game plan on their head. So what they do usually is that people walk over them, like Stalter just said, let people go around. This time they let everyone go under, undisturbed. They put so much space in between them. Look at this. Aware, Floki, Aryan, Siberia, they all have to deal with each other. Teak, he has an opening to just shoot at Mr. Savage. No one's going to be looking up top on Height. The Siptos is going down too, so this is very good for Kiriachi and company to just steal away this entire lead. These guys are masterminds, just staying hidden at the best point in the whole server.
Also, in the shadows, in the low ground, it is Cam in the top 3. If they could get a victory royale that's been escaping them, they've been getting the consistent placements, but that would be a big-time momentum going into game 12. And now that the momentum's not on their side, and you hear Storm Surge, it's a looming, it's a coming, and right now they're in the first moving. They're on the front side here. This duo is definitely going to have to find a refresher. They're going to need it right now because their light is slowly dwindling.
Gonna be in 4th place. Only 2 teammates have to make the move. They have a little bit of zone position, so they can take their time. Just dealing with Storm Surge right now. They need to get some damage down. 13 people need to go before that 7th zone closes in.
Nothing.
First target. Rifle save it. But yeah, nada. No shots. Where will they look? Down below. It's fully built. Up above, if they edit, they might get shot. This is a troubling puzzle, but it might be Janice who has the solution for it. Doesn't matter. We tune in to the bigger picture. Kiriachi up top. Look at it. They're looking for complete control. Tayson flies by. They have Height. They might just win EU and get ahead in this game alone. Kiriachi cannot find Aryan, and he goes straight for the dive. But look, Stormy, he stops Koro from taking that high ground again. They've blocked one retake, but they're going to have to do it so many times. It's just the 6th zone.
You gotta watch out. Usually Queasy kind of sends a kind of distraction up there, and the other trio kind of cranks up there, but that distraction may be a little too early for what they wanted to do. Yeah, there it is. Queasy, Trilix, the distraction was there. Jerky and Trilix are taking it. Stormy right, he's losing Height. He got his shield cracked, and right now Kiriachi is doing what he can to get up to his trio mates to help out, to give him back up, but Stormy right gets knocked, and now it's up to Kiriachi and Tooth. The distraction play has been so strong all weekend, and the defending FNCS champions here as Tayson takes out Hen, and Tayson is gone, eliminated, lobbied.
Every single trio spinning and clashing against each other. The sparks fly. Kiriachi, his momentum still going strong. Needs a little bit more torque, though, to get out of this situation. Still on the zone. One flopper and a pad in play. Juice is all the way ahead. It's a solo game now. Player one's player own. He's still pushing all the way up on 2nd Height. 2 HP. Baits Queasy down to his own lair, but he has to get away inside. 1 HP on the storm line, no mats, and that's where they stop. 1 elimination and just a little bit of placement. There's still a big chance for anyone to clap back and catch up. It's 4-7 Torn Siberia who try to take that chance with a new high ground wave.
I don't want to see Cammy setting Teak in this low ground here. So yes, people from the bottom of the board, in the middle of the board right here, like Janice here, going for the med kit play. Now he's going to have opportunity to hit someone from the backside. And we see Savage right there in the low ground too. Janice here, a solo FNCS champion, is going to try to clutch. And this is a big moment for their run. If they could get a decent points, that's going to set them up for that striking distance game 12 here. It's the FNCS EU, and 4ZR closes out that story with a blast.
4ZR within. Alexa squeezes just 8th place, 2 away from where Janice just was. Future Traffic default though, they're not done. They fell down to 10th place and they want to come back all the way towards the top 5. Trippern taking out the trio. Now Fractured, Needlecrats and Hottie will have to operate alone. That's where things are kind of tricky inside that 9th zone. We'll see what they do. Have that SMG to use. It's purple. It'll do a lot of damage. The first pump shot will not be that big of a hit though. Up against Savage's walls. Tricky fight, blocks one shot, goes for another, but no! Silence before he can speak. Needlecrats gets taken down.
Wow, Savage right now is putting on a show, but Hottie is still up, and when Hottie occupies a space, but Sapphic from the high ground is putting the pressure, and this is another appearance from Sapphic Default and Patrick there, putting on the brakes on everyone down below, but Andalix them as well, and Dreda gets knocked out of nowhere. Refsguard, yes, Savage, Refsguard, they are doing their thing, but I gotta say, Andalix and Squeeze in a 2v3 battle between Patrick Default and Sapphic. This is gonna be another victory out for them, for Savage and Patrick.
Every time they have height, they don't lose. X-Squeeze and Alex. This is a battle to see who's going to be higher in top 5. He has a backside entrance to the zone. Lands a few shots on the Sapphic. Not enough to actually get things going. And Alex, he's taking lots of Storm 2. X-Squeeze down. 1v2. We've seen Andalex do it before. Baited by the Siphon. Expert movement from Default for another victory royale for the Cyber Legacy-centric trio.
That is a huge development right there for Game 11 to get the second victory royale, considering that they were coming into this match and 10th place here. And like I mentioned, a lot of zeros is on the line as well. So that's going to put them closer and closer to that top 5 and that big prize money in the top 3, and maybe ultimately closer to that line share of the #1 spot. But Shio, we got one more.
Yeah,
we got one more, my friend.
EU, everyone was kind of slurping on the top 5 in that game. They got taken out immediately, and then it was up to 10th, 8th to 7th to make that comeback. So now things are even closer.
Listen, it's happening. It's happening. It's happened every time in the qualifiers semifinals. The top 3, and that time the top 5 went down early. They go down, and all of a sudden, the people in the middle of the pack move it up. This is going to be a crazy finish, and I'm going to need Levin, Reese, and Zeke to let us know how close it's going to get here for Game 12.
Man, we just talked about X-Squeeze and Alex in 4ZR not that long ago, and they come in hot. 12 eliminations, and not a victory royale, but a second place is still worth 26 points, friends. The proverbial sundown swoop is happening.
I can't believe you just ripped that out. Game like 11 of the FNC finals. Look, it is getting crazy. It is getting very, very crazy. Look, we had a game where that was to the people on the bottom of the leaderboard, all knocks, all gone, all of the top contenders, and then all of a sudden they all start falling one by one. And you get Sapphic Patrick Default getting another victory out, and that's huge for them. That is very huge because they were sitting in 10th, like Sancho said, but they were close in terms of points. Like we talked about the fine margins before, so this is the kind of game you need to have going into that final game.
And what's interesting, like you already mentioned, right? Those top 5, top 6 teams went out, but this was a battle between the teams in 9th, 10th, and 11th. So because it was looking so close going into the final games between like 7 teams, 6, 7 teams, now I've had a peep at the leaderboards, and before we see it, I'm going to tell you, this is much more close going into this final game. Like, this is intense.
That's right, guys. There's a few things we want to talk about before we can get there, but we got to talk about this top 3, right? Because we cannot forget, first place walks away the Axe of Champions, $300,000. Now, which of these top 3s are fighting at the top? Talk me through it.
Well, look, Kamisei and Teak, didn't have the day they would have wanted to have yesterday. Of course, it was only the 4th game, so not much opportunity to prove themselves. But today, it's been a completely different story, Reese. They have been phenomenal thus far.
Yeah, they've been so good. They've been the 2nd highest points so far out of anyone on this day, which is crazy. But Stompy, Nebs, and Pig, we saw obviously the crazy clutch. I'm so glad we actually get to rewatch this right here in this package from Stompy to pick up the victory royale in the 1st or 2nd game of today as well. They've been on fire. Same with yesterday. Obviously, they were one of our leaders, top 3, and they're still in the running now too.
Yeah, and of course, Kiriachi, Toos, and Stormy, right, who have been just unplayable. Like, regardless of what happens at this stage in the tournament, these guys can honestly look back at this as an all-time performance of any team from their region, and they are still in first place going into that final game. Kiriachi, Stormy, and Toos sitting high above, but when you look at the rest of the teams, look at how many teams are tied on 242 points. That is absolutely ridiculous. Like, that isn't...
Is that a record?
That shouldn't be a thing.
I think so. Hold on 1 second. Production, stay on this for a second, please. Right. I'm not fussed about the other page right here. We have to look at this. 262, 252, 251. Then those 4 teams tied on 242.
look how close this. Literally anyone on this page can win. It's obviously a little bit less likely for Rescar's team at the bottom being a little bit further far, but if we see Kiriachi, Stormy Right, and Toos going down early, this shakes up everything and leaves it wide open for any of these teams to pick up the first. The comeback from Andalex, 4ZR, and Etsuis that we have seen today has been astronomical.
Man, I don't know what I've watched today. Today has just been an absolute just cluster in my head of just Fortnite proportion. I don't really understand how Andalex is all of a sudden just sitting in second place going into the final game, but nevertheless they're there, and I'm going to accept that for what it is. But like you said, the second, you know, for them, I'm sure Kiriachi and his fans will be hoping he doesn't go down early, but if that team does go down early, yeah, we got a good 25.5 minutes coming up. I'll tell you that much.
Just to add to this, Andalex's team, honestly,
absolutely insane. This is it, Fortnite fam. 266 is the number to beat. Watch that number in the bottom left, that little badge that is going to let us know which team is coming out on top. One final game, and it could go any which way. Sancho West and Shawage will be talking us through this final game before we crown our trio's champion. So friends, take it away.
10 teams on the biggest region in the world. When you start your Fortnite, you dream of a chance like this. $1.5 million plus on the line up for grabs, and one final game for a team to come out on top. It's Shy Wager and Sancho West leading you through this crazy concoction of a leaderboard. And Sancho, I don't know which way it's going to go.
One game. It's all it takes. This is it. The top 10 are all in the running here. And it is game 12 of the EU region. And what a scary situation right now for Nevs, Pink, and Stompy. They've been going up against the instigators, and now this is a battle happening here at the gas station. It's all on the line here. Backbeat is just trying to fight for money, while Stompy, Nevs, and Pink are trying to fight for glory. And they get a couple of knocks right then and there, but oh no! In the feed, Savage gets knocked and eliminated as well. One of those top 10s. Child, this elimination feed is just gonna come with a lot of drama, man.
Stompy's getting set up by a trap from Hydro in a bush. We have to go over to Steamy Stacks to look at this team in 10th place. What a chance to be there, get taken out. It looks like Ref's Guard is the last one to go down. Savage in 10th place, frozen in time, 228 points. Will only fall further, but what a chance and what a battle they had coming all the way to this point today inside the finals of EU.
This is what it's all about. In moments like that, clashes like that, every moment matters. I always said the one win is all it takes, but literally one build is all it takes. One shot is all it takes. It feels like we're watching a high-stakes reboot round in our hands. Reboot rounds in the previous was just for a right to play for $1,000, but now it's hundreds of $1,000s on the line. I feel like a victory royale there. This is the ultimate win condition.
And I feel like Nabs might have stumbled across another llama, maybe? No. It's a pad that comes here. I was looking at something different that might have been running on the road. Maybe they even missed it, but we'll see. This is 3rd place that just held on to their seat by the skin of their teeth. Like 251 points, tied with Andalex at 252. 11 and Reese right way. They started with 50 on the day. Nebs landing a crazy sniper shot, but cannot confirm it. Remember, at this point, every elim matters, worth 2 points. It can make the difference between how far you push and where you end up in the feed. Benji still fighting against Shashi's trio. They go toe-to-toe, blow for blow. Kind of casualties on both sides, but no one actually winning out the fight just yet. Lots of trios to tune in with all around the map. Here's Andalex's landing over at Misty Meadows. Question marks all throughout the entire prep for this broadcast. Well, game looks like Benji Fishy is down for the count in this final game. Shadow and Joe might follow very soon, but there's still time for a little bit of a clutch. 4-0 and Andalex, though, they have had the run of their lives in day 2 of this FNCS.
And they did it before, but it was Andalex who did it last season. He was on the bottom of the board, but he only stopped at the top 10. But now with the new trio mates, I gotta say, I haven't seen a new trio literally form in the qualifiers be able to make it this far. It just shows you how great this decorated trio can be. And Andalex right now, we already kept talking about the 4-time Now, we already kept talking about the 4-time attempt for tasting this, but Anilix right here could get his second FNCS championship.
See if he pushes forward for it. Two teams already down. Looking at the structure of where the zones are going to, it'll be slightly north. We've seen multiple teams at very tricky times, and High Ground just went out all the way towards these northern zones. That's trouble for Analex and Sweet Sports Jar, who we've seen today. It's going to operate off of low. That's trouble for a lot of teams, because that means you're going to have to fight all the way to the 9th zone and put everything on the line. You can't just hide and pass by, play super consistent. This is where you go all out.
Patrick, Staffik, and Default have been making appearances at in-game, solving their rotations. They're not hiding right now, because now they have all eyes on them, considering that they just got a victory royale, and it looks like Shadow is going to be eliminated there. So Benji's trio now is on the ropes. You're seeing Red Rush is going all through.
Yeah, and this trio is kind of the introduction to the 4-way tie we have on the board right now, all just etched in at 242 points.
And yeah, the other trios are Hottie, Janice's, and Cammy's trio, all right there. And Floki, the Clement Deceptos are right behind him with 237. Vino, Tayson, and Reason at 235, of course, 10th place. Unfortunately, the fan favorite, Savage, eliminated out there in Stamey Stacks and early engagement.
Oh
man,
up against Reason, and I'm not sure what's happened in this fight or why this man is 1v3, but there are the teammates. Fear in Bayan's heart as the pinch starts to get set up. They need Surge, and this was their backup plan since the start of the day. You can see how close things are. First to Tayson and this team from the pack.
Shots ringing through. This is what's so scary right now. I mean, these trios, even though, yeah, they're scavenger route trios, they have been putting up a defensive hold right here. And Diablo Bayan right now alongside with Ghosty. Vino, no! Oh, no, Vino! Tayson and Reason now without Vino here in a world of trouble. The comeback was here. It was real, but it's running out of gas. And the car is slowly slowing down there, but Tayson with enough destruction to allow Vino to get rezzed by Reason. But these are scary moments that are happening right in front of our eyes.
Tayson has to just hold off the weight of the world right now with all the pressure. Bayon's team's probably going to be looking to delve down after that knock. They stay actually passive, though, waiting for this team to make another. Oh, Vino gets another shot. Reason in the same box. He never misses.
No!
Characteristic. Whiff. Yes. There's no way. He gets the Elim at a big cost. 57 HP in
nice
the box.
Nice.
Out on Reason. He always clutches. Big shots, and now Tayson's with him. Another man? No, it's his teammate inside. And there's one more person to focus. It's Bayon, who's flying the whole way away, and he should. Because right now, Reason, he's putting everything into overdrive. He wants to stay in this game.
Was that a Chuck Cannon there as well? That's going to be a nice way to get back into a fighting stance right there. But Reason with the quick flip of the stairs is able to keep on trucking. Now we go to Janice Chappas coming into this fight. 6th place on one of those 242 ties. So we're going to do our best to keep an eye here. Yes, Zeke was right. Keep an eye on that golden number, but that number is not going to be, that's just for day 2. Listen to me and Chio. We're going to do our best to keep you up to speed with everything that's developing with this engaging leaderboard. This is literally the 8th game all of our competitors have been working with. This is the final game right here to determine who is going to be the EU FNCS champions. And what I've been enjoying right now, him, Janice, and Chapix, they're getting better. They're getting like hot at the right time. And all that is missing from that trio is a victory royale. And wow, what a way to do it with style if they were to get one here in game 12.
Kuriachi needs to go down, and then they need like 10 more points on top of that. And we know that Kuriachi plays really well all the way towards the end of the game, so it should be the VR that will separate them from everyone else. Right. Looking for that last elimination, because every single Elim matters. This is 2 free points that have pushed forward even closer to placement. So let's see exactly what this trio does. I want to overstay because there's no meds for Vino to get back into the game. Have to find the med kit ASAP.
I'm just trying my best to keep an eye on everything that is happening here. This is going to be one of those moments, yes, that Chuck Cannon, they were able to get here. Where is Andalix here? Okay, there is Andalix. We could all breathe this in a little moment here. but X-Verse trio that's been right behind them, been piggybacking on their way here. Very dangerous attempt here for tags. You don't know what kind of mindset is X-Ver in. We did see that Artskill was able to get a victory out here in the set of games, so that in itself is a victory. But right now, we're watching probably one of the greatest comebacks as well. Tayson, Vino, and Reason are on the same kind of path here. But this team was kind of, they were in the water, man. They were not good. No one was just counting them out. They were all just, we were just like basing off their, and here they are.
For the points they have and the way they've played so far, Yashi's team has a 20% chance, basically. A 20% chance, basically, of just taking away the entire title. With the lead, with the consistency we've seen. Few teams on kind of the same wavelength, all the way down to top 10. At the bottom being around 2%. We'll see exactly who can shove in.
Oh, I was going to say here, man, Kirachi could have gotten an easy elimination. That would have been really big, 2 points right there. And they have been in this position before. We've seen this rotation happen time and time again in the Chapter 2 Season 7. They park right here, pit stop, and they take beams at anyone rotating from the south side here. We did see Expert here on the left side. Look at this free rotation. They're making their way through. It looks like Patrick does not see them. As if they did, they would slow them down and beam them, but everything matters here. Every base up, it matters here. Default, Safik, and Patrick, I got to hand it to them. They're one of those ones that have been operating underneath the radar here, and I've been liking their improvement throughout the time here. I'm finding that this entire region is just getting hot at the same time. I can't believe that game 12, I just feel like last time it was a 2-horse race, but literally we have the whole field, the top 10 in the running here. And all it takes is a pop-off game to get you in the running, and that has happened. Game 1, the big 5-0. So don't go anywhere. This is it. Like Levin said, 25 minutes, and we're going to get one of the best finishes of the history of Fortnite.
Everyone on tough splits just gathering info. Default trio ahead of Surge at the moment, so don't have to over edit for anything really. But as we go towards that 5th zone, we'll have to get probably around maybe 100 or 200 more damage to be able to do it on rotations. Based up right now, there's no sense in really taking shots at anyone's builds.
I'm glad you say that, because that means it's a great sign for Kiriachi. I mean, Kiriachi's right there. He's just chilling. Who knows if he needs Storm Surge tags, but basically that just means no shots going to be sent this way. All those trios are content. They understand. They don't want to take any more risks, because literally any open edit, as we're seeing here, that Tripper gets an elimination on Malibuka. So Tripper may just right there broke that 4-way tie with just that elimination in itself. But that's when it comes down to it. We've been seeing time and time again. You open up your edit, you go for a window edit, you get greeted with a sniper bullet. And right now, you do not want a sniper shot to slow you down, because every rotation is definitely going to matter here. The sniper shot whizzes right by Chapix. Chapix gets a free haircut as they come right to the top of the Guardian Tower, and they're going to base up there. But that was just one of those moments. Look at this. So these are my favorite moments of game 12, when the board settles out the action with engagement. This is it. Top of the board, right looking down at each other.
Everyone side by side. And last season, we wrapped it up at Steamy Stacks. Looks like for this one, we're going to be at Pleasant Park for this end game. Lots of natural low ground for teams to be able to space apart and operate. Going to be tough, though.
That's 6th and 3rd place right there. 6th and 3rd place.
That's 4th and 3rd. These guys are tied for 4th, right?
Oh, yeah.
They're
literally true. Maybe tiebreakers, maybe, you know, that puts it in the thing. But yes, you are correct.
Yeah. It's going to be really tough, the pressure on Hangenis Chapix here, because not only are they trying to win everything, they're literally tied right now. If these other teams are alive, they're not moving anywhere in placement.
I got to point out, Vino is back. Vino got rebooted. He is here. He's back.
Nice. So the aggression that Tayson's team took.
I'm sorry, it's they're still on their feet. They're fighting as a trio. I'm thinking of game 11. Okay. Work with me here. We're running here. We're gonna finish this strong. Baby.
We're chilling. Nice choice of time for Hangenis Chapix to move as well. This is sick. Everyone else is kind of worrying, waiting, steady. He's driving. Janice flying. Want to get into Pleasant and take these houses fast. move over here to recuperate a lot of the materials they might have lost from their previous builds. Then after that, they want to get a little bit more central. They can always go back to houses they've owned before. Vino, Reese, and Tayson might just be operating off of momentum. On Ezekiyu's walls, even if you don't get contested off spawn, there are demons waiting to fight you. And this one will be in the shape of Vino. It'll be tough to actually see through this metal, but you might see a shot. It's onto Jerky. No way. Last season's FNCS champions on a lifeline as Vino starts to chase. I'm not sure where the teammates are right now, but they really have a drop down on all sides.
I literally think Jerky's by himself here. I saw a couple knocks on the feet in this engagement earlier. That Queasy went down, and yes, Tayson eliminates Jerky. The defending FNCS champions have been eliminated. Letting the gravity of the situation set in. FNCS champions defending gone and out. They had a lot of opportunities to get into the running. They had a lot of high ground retakes. They showed what they can do. It's just too many trios nipping at the heels, bringing them down. So now we will be able to crown a new trio here. It may be something where we get a repeat champion, but a new trio will win the AXA champions in the lion's share of $1 million. It's game 12 of an 8-game set that we've had all day today, and now you're looking at the eyes of someone that could do it. Stompy, Nebs, and Pig, I told you! You open up the wall, you try to take a shot through the window, and all of a sudden, a sniper shot comes through, and the body shot makes Stompy have to retreat back again. But if anyone else wants to be aggressive here, that's how close it could get. A couple of meters higher, and that's a headshot, and that trio is going to have to dip into a lot more than just a couple of pots and minis.
Just one trio, the green one still waiting all the way, and Storm is trying to hold everyone here back, and Sean's house is on fire. He goes down.
No.
As a result, Hen gotta
get out. Get out.
Their feet also gonna feel the heat. They gotta get out as fast as possible. Andy taken out from the pressure of the whole lobby. Pink is looking this way, having a say in what goes down inside this 5-way fight. And this just looks so bad. He needs to get out of here. Fire on all sides. It's dark. Nowhere to move. And it's hard to come by. But they get to survive with minimal damage.
And look out, Tayson gets a knock on Elder right there. So the ties have been broken at that 242. 4 teams were at that tie there. But as Tayson is coming out the rear here to make an appearance and maybe could get a say if he could come back and be that 4-time FNCS champion.
Definite possibility, but they'll have to break the tie first and then take the entire win. It's looking like whoever's going to win the FNCS today might just be the Victory Royale winner from this game. This is going to be like a reboot type beat for the whole lobby, but at the same time, such a lead has already been put down for Kiriachi, Stormright 2, for Andalex, 4-0 Squeeze. They're kind of a little bit ahead of the pack, and they might just be able to have one good, consistent game, a top 3 finish, to stay ahead of everyone in the lead.
I'm looking at the bottom of the mini-map right there. Kiriachi just had another trio glide in. If we could take a peek at what's happening with Kiriachi, he's on the bottom side of the safe zone. And if that's going to happen here, there's too many people near him that could cause him to fall out of that first spot. If he goes down here, that's what's going to open up the door for everybody to come through. I'm really worried for them because I don't think that they're in, and there's a lot of arrows surrounding them. We got to get eyes on Kiriachi.
X-Squeeze, 4-0 Andalex, 207 points on the day. Overall to start this game, 252. They're about 14 behind everyone overall. Amplify's moved in. Default looking for a high ground position. Ghosty pushing the limit. Stormy, Kiriachi, and Toos just fine on vacation on the shoreline.
Great.
Ahead of everyone right now by 14 points. 266 to start the game. They're looking to hold on to the lead.
So smart. They were normally there and they just rotated a little bit more to the right. So what a great smart rotation into the safe zone. Gave me a mini heart attack here to see the first place, but now we're back on board with the second place team that you could got 9 players have to go down here. Toos picks up some eliminations here, but as Squeeze, Andalex, and 4ZR are way below that storm line, and this is a fight going up against Tripper and Eelcrass. The top of the board are colliding and crashing here at the Storm Surge stage.
6 players need to go down. They have not dealt enough damage to the server. As a result, is punishing them with lightning strikes. No rubberized boots, nothing to really ground themselves with at all. They're just gonna drink big pots and minis the whole way through. Their chunk splash cannon is out of ammunition. They've got no heals. They take to the skies. Don't they know that lightning strikes even harder in the air next to the clouds? They go straight for a trio, but shields are starting to crack. This might be the end of XP Sports and Andalex desperately going towards the box. This might just be free eliminations for the Centric CL combination. They actually pad away. They want nothing to do with this, and they go for a last desperate chance of a few minis and bigs, but Aqua actually lands on them up top looking for free eliminations.
Oh, no.
Toos is down. Tayson's taking him out. Noah Riley pounces on X Squeeze and actually works that build fight crazily. Yes, they take out everyone. Aqua fully eliminates them, and one person went down to Surge. That is a huge jump up for the team that is so close in 11th place.
Andalex is solo. Andalex right here, the champion pedigree of the FNCS. Now, man, this is going to be really tough to do because you're going to have to slow down the momentum that everybody else is there. And you see Aqua to height, you see Tayson being in reason there. They're moving on through. So if he could clutch this, it would have to be on the backside of eliminations. He's going to have to carry this all through. But wow, second place is in shambles. And oh no, Vidil seals the deal right there in the fate. For the comeback is done. The fairy tale ending is not going to happen here. Kiriachi now with Stormy right. They're going to have to do all that they can to hold on because that bottom of that top 10 board is a coming here, Shayo.
One Elam up, they have a little bit of an advantage, but yes, as a duo, they'll look to finish out this game. Last season, but this time, Kiriachi will have to hold on to. Just need to stay alive. About to hit 17th place. That's a lot of placement to get. Kiriachi risking it. Airdrop in the zone. Do they get a pad off of it is the question.
They do.
Looks like they might have. Yes, that's huge. They can make this big rotation if they need to, but they're sticking to low ground for now. Remember, one mistake. That's it for them. First place down. Kiriachi can't afford it. 140 HP. Still moving lower, lower, and lower. Low ground has been their name of the game. Their claim to fame in the last game. And money beforehand as well. They're going.
It's about a 20-point lead that Kiriachi is holding on to. Andalex was frozen at 257, but at height there, it is Aqua's trio, and we've seen them do double-digit E-limbs. They put up the big 5-0, and if they could book in their run here with a game 1-5-0 and big numbers, talk about a win to talk about on social media for such a long time, but not so fast, Sancho. We got to tune into Default and Sapphic here, who are feeling the pressure of Storm Surge once again, and Kiriachi there may benefit from another team feeling some pressure. Shizo gets knocked. Kiriachi is in full barrel sub mode. He's fighting for his tournament life at this moment here. He's trying to stay on his feet. Kiriachi, the Renaissance man, looking for an opportunity to come back and get this FNCS championship. Now has to do it as a solo. Kiriachi, keep going, brother. You can do it.
See what he can do here. Championship running on his shoulders. Has a lot of builds to work with, but now it's just down to wood. They'll make it to the 7th zone, absolutely alone. Medkit, off field, it's in play. Foxy going down around him. Actually interrupted as he takes a little bit more of a gauge as to what's going on around him. Buys a bit more time. Reason fighting down below. Wings going down to the feed. Milwaukee taken away by Hottie. Kiriachi now, 30 HP, gets some time bought inside the zone. All down by himself. More people going down all around. Is it the second heal off he's going to do? Aqua on height. How many points are they getting is a big question too. Vino down. Pink taken out. This might just be what Kiriachi needs. Tapped onto Tayson's back, but not too much of a threat. He still moves forward. Every single box, a new threat he has to deal with. Unknown. Kiriachi, 3 eliminations. Still holding on to what is the imaginary trophy. Can he make it a reality? Still another medkit, but this time interrupted. An ultimate test. Kiriachi has to move layers, make sure there's no scares from any single point inside this zone. Another shot into Tayson. This one misses. A brutal one, and he gets it. He denies Tayson a championship. Keeps his own dreams alive. Kiriachi still going forward, but has to take on trios now by himself. How has no one seen this man? How are these rotations perfect? A final medkit to to solidify one more heal and crucial placement in this zone. Unless Aqua's getting 40 eliminations on height, I don't see this one happening. Top 5 for Kiriachi. He's still pushing. He's still going. Another big pump. Oh, be it. He gets the big shot. This is huge. A trio in the box. He denies it. He doesn't want to get inside the pressure just yet. How is he dodging all these plays? 150 on the Floki. A man by himself is winning EU before our very eyes. Kiriachi stopped by the Symptos, but it might just be enough to give him the FNCS championship.
What a run! Runs from Kiriachi. The solo impact play could have net them the FNCS, but the game's not over yet. Aqua's still on height. We're gonna have to get it, and I think it may be Shio. It may be confirmed.
Kiriachi is the one to do it all the way towards the very end from passive games. They're just taking names. He wins it out, but now it's Hottie looking for even more towards the very end. Flecken. It's Kumu and Aqua who wins the last game to push forward even further inside EU. Never count out the king. He's still here to play.
It starts with the Victory Royale from the deal, Aqua and Noah Riley, and it ends with another Victory Royale. But we will always remember it came into 10 trios, had a chance, but only one was able to hold on, and it came down to one player who get the Victory Royale in their own right and that FNCS championship, Shio.
Every single player around the world watching has one name on their mind, and that is Kiriachi. The man did it today excellently with Stormy right and Toos by his side. When it counted the most, he dodged all eye lines. He took no damage, and he won a finals championship.
Wow, what a great run, man, but what a phenomenal day of games. And I don't want to take away anything from the players. It's their moment, and especially Kiriachi's, Toos' moment here. Oh my goodness, Shio.
Absolutely crazy. It's going to be awesome to see exactly what broke down the entire day. That is it from us, though. Zeke, Levin, and Reese. Just show me that entire play back again. Kiriachi just had a crazy run.
Shio, 100%. That was one of the craziest clutches we've ever seen. Game number 6. Oftentimes, it does not go this way. Oftentimes, it's a brand new team that takes over that first place spot. But for Kiriachi, he said, I want this Axe of Champions. This will be my season. By himself, box to box, every single step, taking one step closer to the Axe. Let's take a look at our overall champions. You already know who is the overall winner. That's right, 295 points. An absolutely insane final few moments from Kiriachi with Stormy right, with Toos alongside him, Spirits pushing him, propelling him, being the wind beneath his wings. They have clutched up the overall win here, and
it's an absolutely magnificent story, isn't it? It is just so wonderful for seeing them clutching it up there. Kiriachi had to stay alive. He just had to, right? That's all it was. It was all a matter of whether he could keep the players beneath him compressed, stop them from being able to eclipse him, and he did it so well. And you can see it, 295 points was enough to secure the $300,000, the Axe of Champions, the first place slot. What a day it has been, Reese Hub, and what a performance from the first place team.
And we cannot talk that play up enough from Kiriachi. Going as a solo from 13 teams all the way to top 5, securing the first place with incredible 4 more eliminations as a solo. That big last 151 shot onto Floki was just the icing on the cake to make sure he and his team with Stormy and Toos stayed in first place. But we got to give congratulations to everyone else that was in there too, of course. We got to give them the presence that we saw. I think it was Hottie's team in second at the same time. I've got to refresh my own leaderboards to make sure it was Big's team, then Seti, Kami, Teak, Vino, Taste, and Reason, and Floki, Clement, and Siptos after that. Huge congratulations to all of the other players on there as well.
Friends, we have to say goodbye. The 8 games were insane. Thank you, EU, for an incredible set of matches. But friends, don't get too far away. We're jumping right into N8 East, okay? So stick around. We love you, and we'll see you up on that battle bus. Beep, beep.